In today's Leeds news, under-18s into Youth Cup semi, Sky Sports make moves to smooth Leeds' relationship, and Leeds may have Clarke interest. Morning folks, Ger here on Friday morning, the 1st of March with your Leeds United news. Not a huge amount going around, but some stories around the under-18s from last night and a really impressive performance by them. Sky Sports making moves to improve the relationship with Leeds United fans, and some potential interest in Jack Clarke as well coming out in reports. Also tonight at 6:30 tonight there will be a match day preview for the Huddersfield game, a live stream with myself and Andrew Dalton, LUFC Stats. You can keep an eye out for that. There will be some information in the preview tabs. You'll see it being promoted and on Twitter as well. If you want to check that out, you can. We'll crack on and we'll start off with the under-18s side from last night, and what was an excellent performance. Over the past couple of weeks we've talked an awful lot about this really talented group of under-18s that will probably form the basis of Leeds United under-21's team next season. They started off this season with Scott Gardner in charge of the team, and he moved into the under-21 role after Michael Scubala moved to Lincoln City, who's also doing very well at Lincoln City. What he left behind was Rob Etherington, and Rob Etherington has taken these under-18s a step further into the semi-final of the FA Youth Cup after a very impressive 3-1 win against Liverpool last night in the quarter-final. Leeds looked incredible on the attack last night. They attacked with a huge amount of pace and bodies. Defensively, very, very solid, but they played some really nice football last night. If you didn't see the game, I really urge you to go on to LUTV and check it out, because it was a fantastic game of football, and it gives you a glimpse of what Leeds can look for into the future. There are some players in this group that look like a real find. Roy Mahady in goal, playing as a deep line number 6 for a lot of the first half as well. Distribution, excellent. Commands his box, really, really good keeper. But there's lots of other players, and we'll get to them in a second. Goals from Rhys Chadwick last night, banging in 2 on the night. And Freddie Lane, who was very impressive throughout the whole game, were enough to give Leeds a 3-1 win. Liverpool did get a consolation goal towards the end of the game after Leeds had made a lot of changes, and it was starting to look a little bit leggy after the amount of work that they had put in during the course of the 90 minutes, and they really did put in a huge amount of work. There were so many standout performances last night. It's kind of an injustice to pick out a couple, but I do want to mention a few. Roy Mahady, as I've mentioned already. Freddie Lane had a fantastic game last night. Josh McDonald, McFadden, Chadwick, all really, really good games last night. Even Harvey Vincent coming off the bench last night got involved and could have scored a couple of goals himself. Chadwick in midfield looks like a proper player as well, and Charlie Crew in there as well, and doing the defensive side of the game. You've got people are asking about Harry Gray. Wasn't involved in the 18 squad last night. He's very much with the 16s or 15s at the moment as well. He dips in and out of the 18s as part of their youth stretch assignments. Michael Scubala spoke to us on this channel earlier this year about the stretch assignments. They bring them in for a couple of games, let them go back down again, they bring them back in again, let them go back down again. So he's floating in and around that as well. But there are some really, really, really good players in this side, and it's a really good game. Go check it out. If you've got time to kill today, even the extended highlights, go check it out. You won't be disappointed. It was a really, really good game. We've got a really, really good goalkeeper in Roy Mahady on the books. If he continues to develop the way he looks in his performances right now at this level, Leeds will have a very good goalkeeper in the future if they can hang on to him. He looks like a really strong find in goal. As I've said, I can't talk enough about him. I think he's been fantastic in goal. Moving on, and some strange news that's come out about Sky Sports trying to iron out the relationship with the Leeds United fans. Speaking in a column on MOT Leeds News, Dr. David Plumley, a finance expert, insists that Sky Sports will be looking to smooth over relationships between themselves and the Leeds United fanbase. Recently, Phil Hay shared news that Sky Sports had asked members of staff at Elland Road what they needed to do to make peace with the crowd after regular chants and anti-Sky chants have been picked up on microphones. We've heard them in every single game. There's very obvious reasons for it as well. Plumley, a football finance expert, as I said, admitted that the broadcaster will be very aware of the PR implications of these chants and how fans have been overlooked in the past by changes that they have made to schedules. What he went on to say was the following: "We've seen a lot of narrative around changing kickoff times, and it's not been great for fans, especially with travel and looking at when trains are available and the cost." He said obviously Sky pay a lot of money for these games, and Leeds do benefit from the additional fixtures that are put in financially. However, from a fan's perspective, it's not been a great experience, and he said that the PR isn't helpful to Sky. But he did go on to say that Sky do want to strike a balance between the club, the fans, and the expectation that they have for games, and they want to make sure the fan experience isn't altered the way it has been recently. It's also worth pointing out that the international fan base as well really struggle with this. From my personal perspective, if you book a flight over for a day trip on a Saturday over and back on the same day, and that fixture gets moved to a Friday, obviously you're not going now to that game as well. It means that you're waiting longer and longer to book tickets for that. And what happens then is the likes of Ryanair are very aware of the amount of Leeds fans that travel from, say, Ireland, let alone Scandinavia and other parts of the world, to Leeds games on a weekly basis. And the price of those flights get very expensive once those fixtures have been moved. I mean, I could probably book a flight to any of the fixtures for next season now for 10 to 30 euro. As soon as Sky moved that fixture, that's 300 to 400 euro, which makes it all of a sudden a lot more costly for fans to try and attend games as well. The train price we saw Leeds away fans had to put up with this week with the Chelsea price tickets of the trains back from London as well. So there is these other industries do look to capitalise on this financially as well. So it does have a massive impact across the board. There's been games that I booked last season, the year before, for an overnight that got moved to a Friday, and I booked a Saturday and a Sunday just in case they moved to a Sunday, and all of a sudden you've got a hotel and flights booked and you can't go to a game because it's the day before. So, and Ryanair charge you if you want to move your flight. So there is a massive impact for the fans outside of those who go to the games every week and are directly impacted by Sky's consistent moving of fixtures. It would be nice if they could just book their fixtures for a 6-month period and then a second 6-month period and let that be done. But that's not the way Sky operate. They do try and slip in additional games when they can as well. But interesting to see the Sky are interested in talking to Leeds about this. What comes of it, we'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't expect much, to be honest with you, but we'll see. And then moving on to the final story today, quite a news day on the ground. A surprising one, according to Dean Jones at Give Me Sport, he believes that Leeds United will have some interest in Sunderland attacker and former Leeds United player Jack Clarke. He says it will depend on what happens in the summer with Leeds, not only the division, but also with the likes of Chris Somerville and Willie Gnonto and their situation. Jones said that it depends on what happens in the summer, but that there is interest from Leeds in re-signing Jack Clarke. Clarke has been in excellent form for Sunderland this season, but is currently on a lengthy spell out of the Sunderland team with injury. He's due back, I think, right in time for the Leeds United game, if my maths is right on that. On the possibility of Clarke signing for Leeds and the situation around it, Jones has said the following: it will depend on what happens with the likes of Somerville and Gnonto once you get to the end of the season. Leeds will be desperate for them to continue their future with the club again and see this through. This has been a difficult season, but if they can get out of the league, the mission will be accomplished. Jones went on to say about Clarke, Clarke is a profile of player that Leeds are looking at, and if they get back to the Premier League, is a player they would be interested in. There is a lot of interest in Jack Clarke across the board in the Premier League. He had a really, really standout season this year. A very good season last year, and he's really started to show the form that we saw him when Tottenham Hotspur came in and bought him from Leeds United during his very impressive season at Leeds. So it's an interesting one. Leeds have an abundance of wingers currently: Dan James, Jayden Anthony, Willie Gnonto, Chris Somerville. Arguably George Junior Rutter can play out there. Arguably Junior Firpo can also play out there as well from an attacking perspective. So there's a lot of there. There's question marks around Jayden Anthony's future. What happens with him now that Luis Sinisterra's move to Bournemouth has been made permanent? What happens with him? He won't go back there now, or will he go back there? He'll be down the pecking order. Do Leeds look to sign him on a permanent deal if they get promoted to the Premier League? He's been in and out of the team this year. He did clock up some assists for Matteo Joseph's goal during the week. So it's going to be an interesting one to see. Jack Clarke, very, very good. Would he be interested in coming back to Leeds? I don't know, but it's interesting to see that someone like Jack Clarke is being linked with a return to Leeds, and the new ownership of Leeds are keeping an eye on him. He does kind of fit the model: young, exciting, attacking player. He does kind of fit the model of what the 49ers have been looking to bring into Leeds in the last 12 months. We'll have to see if that fleshes itself out, but Dean Jones reckons Leeds do have interest in Jack Clarke, but it will depend on our division, and it will depend on Chris Somerville and Willie Gnonto's situations in the summer. Folks, that's going to be it for me for right now. I will be back at 6:30 tonight with stats to give you the matchday preview for the Huddersfield game, all the information, stats and statistics that you need to know about that game. Talk to you later. See you then. Bye.